first word it
Yeah,
said
shut
is
up
just.
for a second.
I started the first word said is just horrifying. Thanks. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, no problem, man.
This is a horrible first stream back in a while. Okay. Alright, I
No, it's
can't zoom
funny.
in like I like to, but hi. I should probably open Twitch on my phone to actually see the chat. Hold up. I
Maybe.
forgot about that. I forgot about that.
Okay, guys.
I know what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. I can see things. I never thought I'd see the day. Why are you immediately here, Ryan? Why are you
That's the thing.
immediately here? Wait, is my chat on screen? Hold up. It is! Oh my god. Why? Why are you exploding? Who is friend?
Wait, I was exploding?
You exploded or something. You remember, person who came into my chat with these name, that we just nicknamed non-binary? Friend. Friend. I don't know what else to
Friend
call
with
you because
me.
we have not come up with an alias.
I am friend.
You are friend. Which I think you've. I don't know. Who is friend? Yes. Friend. Ooh. We've not come up with an alias yet, and the skin is.
God, it
The skin is gorgeous.
scares me every time.
Every time that you explode?
Yeah, I just like blow up.
It's beautiful. Yeah,
I know, right?
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. We should go play some Bed Wars. I don't know. I don't
Bonk.
know.
I got wait.
No.
No, you don't explode.
You think I have the money to explode? I can't hear you anymore. Yeah, we should go play some Bed Wars. I think you have to teleport us into Bed Wars, bro.
Yeah, I do. Wait, I'll be right back. I gotta go find the thing.
Isn't there, like,
It's
a way to teleport into
gonna be here.
games? Did you
Yeah,
forget about
yeah.
that? Oh, everyone is just a basic skin, and I don't know why. This is great. Why does no one
Uh,
have a nice skin on? It's just us having our own skins.
because they're anonymous, so we start.
Oh, did not know that was a thing.
Except for me, because we're in a party.
Yeah, I haven't touched this game since I don't think I have. I maybe have played it like once on actual computer, like
Oh
Java
god.
mode. I mean, I played it on Bedrock with Ryan and stuff, and I've only ever watched people play this on Java. So I'm gonna be so good at this. Yay! Oh, I forgot there's only one. Goddamn.
What?
I can't.
Oh god.
Hi.
My skin looks 10 times worse with the helmet on.
It does.
So horrifying.
You are horrifying.
Thanks.
Did you
Thanks,
say
buddy.
hey or thanks?
And thanks.
No problem, bro.
Oh. What?
Oh, someone just immediately left.
I love that. Okay.
I love the lag.
I
Oh, am
love
I
that.
lagging horribly? Oh no.
No? Are
No,
you?
but I see the message just,
You
oh,
don't.
I love the lag. Am I lagging horribly? Guys, how did someone actually lose it? How was someone eliminated? We're in team mode.
Yellow is goaded.
I don't like yellow. Are all these diamonds? These are all diamonds. No emerald though. Nice. Just straight up playing Minecraft. I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna be
Yeah,
real. You
it's
might have to carry us in combat because I'm ass at fighting.
wonderful. Well, so am I. So this will go great.
Yay! Hi.
Hey, I'm back.
Oh, the Minecraft music kicked in. Let's go. This is going great. Ooh, it feels so.
I know, right?
It feels so like. So, how are this many people being eliminated? It's been like a minute, guys.
Where's the fun in keeping people alive?
Me not being scared.
Real.
You're kidding.
Okay, so yellow has just slaughtered.
I don't like that.
It just slaughtered me, too.
Ooh, a small brain moment. Oh, jeez. That's the wrong block. They're coming to us. They're coming to us. They are like coming directly to us. Get your ass out here.
Yeah.
Can you not? Thanks, guys. Should play Sonic.
Yeah, we're gonna
see if you have a question.
Yeah, we're dead. We're so dead.
So. Can you not? Can you like not
Okay.
actually? First round. The stream has lasted like 6 minutes. I love the cats you've been keeping. Yeah, I added Roxy to the list of the cats on my side because you have Sushi who's been up there, and I've added Roxy, and it makes me happy. I love the cats you've been keeping. That sounds so cryptic. What do you mean?
Oh.
I love the cats you've been keeping, Ryan. What do you mean?
Oh, I love that there's no one else in this game.
Yeah, no, it says I have 3 viewers. It's just Ryan. My brother.
My favorite. Oh, now there's people joining. Oh. Oh. I really just thought you were like longingly looking over the edge over here.
I should have been. I was eating food. I literally can't.
Just longingly looking over the fence.
Come here, Simba, or whatever the quote is. Everything the light touches is your domain, or I don't know. I haven't watched Lion King in like 15 years. Not that's too long. That's too long of a time frame.
Yeah, that feels like too long.
Now I feel 15 is a little too long. I'm your biggest supporter. Thank you. My biggest supporter is my brother. I don't know how
15
to feel
years
about
is
this.
15 years is a long time.
Yeah. Here, we're gonna live longer. We're gonna live longer. We're gonna live longer. We're gonna live longer.
I believe.
We got this. Totally. Huh?
Hello?
I'm still in the. Oh, what the fuck? I was still in the lobby
Oh.
area.
Oh, there you go.
Your head is on backwards.
Okay, so, oh, there you are.
Am I lagging? Am I lagging horribly?
I don't know. It said you disconnected, though, so...
What?
You don't seem very disconnected.
No, I'm running around. I'm having the time of my life.
Oh, our bed's gone already.
Oh, I'm gonna hide. They can't see me. I don't think.
Okay, we're playing.
Oh,
we're playing again.
Oh, I'm in the menu! Bro doesn't want to continue
There you
Sonic.
go.
I'm
my
in
God.
the menu!
No,
Do we
I'm
play something
working on
else?
it.
Ah! Hello.
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 This is going great.
I know, right?
We've lost 2
Absolutely
matches in
no technical difficulties.
We've lost 2 matches in 10 minutes. Well, if it's not one of my streams, if there's no technical difficulties, you should know it by now. You've been to like 1 or 2.
Exactly.
Why am I getting yelled at? Why is bro screaming, bro?
No.
The lag here is atrocious. I'm sorry! I don't mean to lag!
Yeah, Sophia, stop lagging.
What?
No,
Play
we're
Sonic.
playing Minecraft.
Can I not play Minecraft with my friend?
No. I'm not real, remember?
Then who have I been soloing with in Choir? Not soloing, but like opting up.
I'm just a shadow.
Who have I been opting up with in Choir then? Who's the stage manager then? Don't use German against me, you fucker!
I'm just a shadow.
This god, oh my god, your hat's gone.
I'm just a
It
shadow.
makes the eyes even worse!
Good.
Bro,
Wait, let me turn it back on.
I just see Ryan using German against me. Don't you fucking dare.
9.
I will.
Kein
You
Deutsch.
don't know enough German to use it against us. We could have a full conversation and you would not know it.
Sprechen wir auf Deutsch?
Willst du Deutsch sprechen?
Wir können Deutsch sprechen.
Wir können. Aber sollen wir Deutsch sprechen, aber...
Wenn du willst.
Es ist ein bisschen lustig. Oh mein Gott. Was meinst du, dass... Oh mein Gott.
Das ist sehr lustig.
Wie? Wie bist du jetzt aus? Aus ist nicht ein... das ist nicht ein gutes Wort. Oh mein Gott. Wer hast... Jemand hast reported? Hello? Ich weiß nicht ein Wort, für das ich... Entschuldigung.
Oh mein Gott. Oh, ich bin tot. Oh nein.
No!
Oh nein.
Nine! That's not German! No, it's not German! Get the fuck! I was busy saving up for the block! Well, you can't kill me if I kill myself.
Ich bin tot. Oh my...
I use that tactic too much.
Okay. I guess we're gonna try again.
Yippie! Magst du das zu spielen? Meine Freund.
Ja. Videospiele sind gut.
Ryan, ich weiß, wo du lebst.
Oh mein Gott. Ich weiß, wo ich lebe.
Du weißt, du wo lebst.
Ja.
Das ist sehr gut. Das ist sehr gut. Ich denke, du sollst das wissen, aber was weiß ich?
Ja.
Was weiß
Was
ich?
bist du? Nein. Du bist nicht.
I love that. Just like, okay, it's just Ryan talking in the chat. Sure. No questions. No pointing at that. We're just speaking German.
Yeah. Obviously.
Oh, he said fuck me. He said fuck you. He's learning. He's learning. How do you feel?
Er lernt.
Er hat
Oh
etwas
nein.
nicht sehr nett
Sie
zu mir
lernen.
sagen. Oh nein. Was? Was hast du gesagt?
Sie lernen.
Oh nein. Oh nein, sie lernen. Warte, ich muss etwas bei den Bett platzen. Platzen? Das ist nicht der echte
Ja.
Wort. Was ist der Wort? Oh mein
Ja, bitte.
Gott. Was ist die Wort? Ich weiß nicht, was wir sagen jetzt.
Bett ist gut.
What?
Bett ist gut. Waffe ist auch gut.
Vielleicht.
Nein, nicht vielleicht.
Sehr
es ist gut.
vielleicht. Ich werde
Nein.
sehr viel von das platzen und niemand kann etwas machen. Niemand kann nichts machen. Das ist unser Bett und unser Bett nur. Nicht ihr, nur uns. Gay! I said go, but it just sounds really, really aggressive. It It just sounds really, really aggressively. Hey! Bitch! Okay. You wanna kill ourselves? Can't kill me if I kill myself! I was not knocked into the void. I didn't get hit once. I killed myself and give me all my credit.
We're just...
Don't take credit for my suicide!
It's an insane sentence.
Do I have to add that to my quote book?
Oh, it'll go on mine.
I hate you. I hate you. Also, I'm like, I just processing what Ryan said. Is that meant to be what H-U-R-E? What is that meant to be? That's not a German word, I don't think.
It is now.
It is now? We're just gonna go to our German teacher
Yep.
and be like, hey, we're adding this to the dictionary.
Yeah, hey, we're gonna add something into the dictionary real quick.
We're gonna add something real quick. Don't mind us.
Sorry about that, man. That was me.
I just see yes. Nothing else, just yes. So...
What if I play this round as just that shadow creature?
Just as... Is your hat gone? Oh god, you're bald!
You can't see me, I'm a
You're
shadow,
balder.
no one will know. You're not bald!
You're like Fashdarb. Wait, what? That's not what I meant to say!
Oh, you're not wrong, so...
What the fuck is the reverse name for him? Washdar. Bar?
Washdarb.
Washdar?
Washdarb.
You're like Washdar. I don't fucking remember what he called it, man. I'm tired.
That's
I'm
real.
home for a reason. Give me a goddamn break. Gonna real quick play some Bedrock. Oh god. I forgot that with Java, it's like people who actually play this frequently and are inherently good.
Yeah.
I'm not one of those people.
No, I'm not either.
Speaking of which, Green, fuck you!
Were they already here?
Bro, just act. I was fading into the void as the bed was broken. I couldn't do shit. Do we play something else?
We could.
Build battle. I have not built in a while.
Suck at build battle so bad. We'll play build battle, it's funny. We're playing build battle.
I just see clip that chat. It's whore. That's not a word, Ryan.
Okay, so that's not how you say that. But,
So,
like, close enough, you know?
Also, if you
Oh my god.
Are you gonna join build battle?
I'm working on it.
You okay?
You need to... I'm gonna send you a photo really quick.
Oh no. What did you send me?
Texting you a picture.
I'm scared. What did
My
you send
skin
me?
looks even more horrifying in my inventory.
I just asked my German friend. Who? He's calling me. Wait.
You might want to text check your text messages. Wonderful. Don't even worry.
One, you're terrifying. Two, Ryan called me on my phone. Do you want to say hi?
Oh, wonderful.
That's not German, Ryan.
No! I thought it was Chinese! I know it's not German!
I know.
See, I asked my German friend, like, random curse words in German, and he put H-U-R-E.
I don't ever remember that being one.
Well,
No, I feel like
looked
that's
it up.
not
I
right.
looked it up.
Hold up, we're pulling up Leo.org. That's how you know we're
It's
getting
Leo.
serious.
It's Leo.
Huh?
It's Leo.de. And it's funnier
So maybe don't.
if you
Okay,
just
I
like.
looked it up and I figured out why we don't know it. Maybe don't call it us that, cause that I look it up. The first one, the second word is prostitute.
Oh,
Yeah, you're.
Maybe reel
Okay.
it back, Ryan.
Oh my god, I didn't know that
maybe
part.
just a little,
Maybe reel it back.
I didn't know that part.
or like a lot.
Where did you go?
Oh no,
I lost my friend. The
Okay, I'm
shadow.
gonna let you go back.
I've literally warped you to the server.
Yeah,
I don't
but
know where you
see
went.
you. Ah! Oh, I see you. Yeah, Ryan called me if you couldn't hear.
Oh, I heard.
Now I know why we weren't taught that word.
Yeah.
Oh my god, you were.
Anyway, it's time for build battle. Do I need to put my hat back on?
You are kind of terrifying.
I'll put my hat back on.
Oh, okay.
I just got lit on fire.
That doesn't feel nice.
Oh.
This is gonna go great. How big of a team is it gonna be?
I think it's doubles.
Okay. Let's see how good this goes.
Let's see how long we have to wait in the lobby to actually join a game.
Ooh. I haven't seen build battle stuff in so long, man.
Oh, never mind. Actually, like
Immediately.
10 seconds.
Alright. Alright,
What's
train
the
station,
theme?
bird, money, post office, hurricane. In the eye of the hurricane. I'm thinking money or bird. Can we do bird?
I'm thinking bird.
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 Bird, okay.
Let's go. We're building a bird. Alright.
Bird.
We have 7.
We have more people? Oh no, it's just us. I thought we had. I saw your shadow and I thought it was someone else.
I am the shadow.
Okay, I'm realizing I don't know what's
Now
here
it's
for the
brown.
legs.
Yellow concrete.
I have terracotta.
We can't use
Guys, we are
concrete.
not prepared at all. Oh, it's beautiful.
I know, right?
That's terracotta, not concrete.
I'm sorry.
We're gonna do a non-titled bluebird.
This is
The
wonderful.
wide stance.
Then we'll
There's
do.
gonna be some masterpieces.
We're gonna have a blue
this.
bird. We're gonna. No.
That's a bright bluebird. What?
Yeah. The brightest blue we can find.
Wait, no, I had a. Okay.
I don't know how to build birds. I don't even know what a bird looks like.
She said you don't know what a bird looks like.
What is going? Oh my god. Oh lord.
We have 2 different colors.
No, we do.
Shh, I can fix this.
Bro,
I
what
can
is going
fix this.
on? I feel like we need to extend the back of the bird.
No, that will happen. But I'm giving it a stomach.
I'm extending the back of the bird.
Thank you.
Yes,
This is
absolutely.
atrocious. I just broke my block!
Terrible. This is horrible.
Guys, I build bases, I decorate houses, I don't build birds.
I build birds.
You just said you don't know how!
I lied.
How could you do this to me?
This looks like a penguin.
Shut up!
I love it.
Penguins are birds, roll with it! I don't know why I'm yelling. We're mixing up your type of blue. We're gonna make it spicy or whatever.
Spicier.
Why?
You have fun with that. I'll build the head.
What is happening?
I don't know. You were the one who wanted to build a bird.
Well, I don't think any of the others were particularly great options. Can we get this done in 4 minutes? Do we have the skill?
No.
Ooh, it's a Bloxy bird head. Ooh. Guys, we're fucked.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Hold up, I'm lowering the
Uh-oh.
stomach. I'm lowering the stomach.
This is the most gorgeous bird I think I've ever created.
Okay. Just some long ass wings. Oh my god. Is it even?
That's the fun part.
That's even enough.
Even enough.
We don't have a lot of time. I don't know what I'm doing with the pattern of the bird, but the bird is a bird.
The bird's a bird.
The bird's word or whatever. Oh wait, no, a beak has to go there. Hold up. Yellow. The beak is highlighter yellow. Ooh.
Oh Jesus.
This is an interesting bird. No! Wait. Wait, I have a perfect edition. No.
Oh Lord.
Let's give the bird some chill eyes. Hold up, I have plans.
You have a plan?
Not
I
really.
feel like I should be scared.
I have concepts of a plan. Oh no, it looks like it has
yeah.
eyelashes now.
No, wait, I
Guys,
like the angry one.
Wait, it's Birdly. No, it's Birdly. Let's give it glasses. It's Birdly
No, I
from
like the angry
Undertale.
one.
It's Birdly from Undertale, guys. This is horrifying. What are we making? What abomination to nature are we making? Okay, let's give him
This
this little bird tail.
is an abomination. I love that the glasses are just not centered on its face.
You made his eyes this way. Are you saying you hate your creations?
No.
I don't like how you had to decide on that, it seems. You, like, genuinely paused, like, no.
Unlike you, I love my children.
I love my children, if I had any.
You didn't love my child, so...
Yeah, oh my god. Does he have a bow?
It was necessary, I promise.
That's not a bow. Okay, you work on the ambiance. I'll give him hair, I guess. Do we give him,
Lord.
do we give him an emo cut?
No, I like the glasses better. It's funnier.
No,
Wait. Please,
Trust
please.
the vision. Does it not look silly?
You have 41 seconds, Sophia.
With the emo cut. You don't trust my vision. I hate it here.
No, please.
How about?
No.
Oh. No, wait. He's like a cartoon lifting his eyebrows and his glasses. Wait.
Wonderful.
This is horrifying. Ah!
Wait, we can give it a tongue.
Birds don't have tongues!
But, like, we could.
This is...
Oh, Lord. What is this?
Oh. These aren't horrible, though. These are kind of cute.
No, they're not. Oh, I didn't even get to vote.
Oh. I should have voted better for the other one. I messed up.
Okay, guys.
Oh!
Oh, dead.
With a slingshot, not even a gun! Oh my god, you remember Swan Lake except it's hunting season? That's what it is.
Yes.
Oh wait, this is
Oh,
really
this one has a
cute.
tree.
This is cute. They're in a tree. Oh, he got the biggest boots. Oh my god.
I love that.
He's got the biggest boots. Oh my goodness. Bro's on a tree stump. Ooh, what the? Okay, we're
What is this?
isn't this super poop? Yeah, super poop. How do we report?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay. Who is this? Oh no, he's contained.
Oh
It could be better.
no.
It is nice. I like it. It's. I'm scared.
Oh lord.
Oh, I see.
Oh lord.
I see a red. I see a no.
I think it's legendary.
I saw a lot of. Okay. Submit report. This is not great.
This is a good bird.
Those are.
Oh, there's
Oh
one.
my god. I'm putting an epic for this bird up here. That's horrifying.
Oh, this is so
This is
good.
really cute. We love this. This is really, really cute. This is a plane. This is a plane.
It's a plane. I love it though.
I unironically really like it, but this is a plane, guys. Is it turkey?
Oh.
Oh my god,
Oh
yours
boy.
and ours and this guy has the same hairdo.
Yes.
Same hairdo.
We
Oh, I forgot to
did.
vote. Ooh. Oh my god, that's a bat. That is not a bird, but I love bats. That's a
But it's
bat.
a Minecraft. Oh my god.
So, ooh, that's really good. That is insanely good. You can't
Oh.
lie.
So
This
how
one's gotta
though?
win. This one's gotta win. Oh yeah.
It better.
If I'm losing to anything, I'm losing to that. Oh, the flamingo. That's cute.
Oh, I love
That's
that.
good. That's good. Oh god, you need your hearts.
Oh.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh, the turkey. Yeah, this one needed to win.
Yeah.
They
Good.
scored 12 out of 17.
That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's
Guys,
okay.
I don't think we're very good at, why are you meowing? I don't think we're very good at, so we need to choose ones that are, like, easy to build and not just cute.
Be smart.
Where am I?
He's-
I'm in limbo. What?
You're in limbo. Why are you in limbo?
Let me in.
I did.
I've typed it. Oh, okay, well, okay. You gotta play alone, I guess.
Okay. I guess I'm making a bridge.
I'll do parkour. So that way stuff is happening.
Okay, you're fun.
I don't know what's happening. Would you watch me for your... Oh. I was gonna ask, would you watch me for your Reddit story, but I immediately messed up. Guys, would you have me in the background of your Reddit story? Am I the asshole? I messed... Hello?
No. I've taken you out of limbo.
Thank you.
You're free from limbo.
Ah! I accidentally teleported. I did not
Free
mean
you
to.
from limbo.
I did not
There you
mean to
go.
teleport. I'm sorry.
I'll free you from limbo again.
Ooh, or we could do, the fucking... Oh wait, that's just team mode. I thought that was the painting game, which I don't remember where it is. What do we want to do?
We can play the painting.
What? I don't know if that's even on here, is it?
Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's getting played right now, though. It's not. It's not getting played right now.
Oh my god, is there cops and robbers? Hello?
Do you want to play Drop first?
Sure. Oh, jeez. This is gonna go great. Let's
I just click all easy ones. Suck at this game.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Oh, I'm limited to 3. Ba, 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 ba. This is the most entertaining stream ever. Oh my god.
I know,
I think
right?
I
We're
just
just
live
waiting.
watched the viewer count drop. That's so sad. That's so sad.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. First player might actually be the move. Did I say first player might be the move? Yeah, that's how you play this game. Oh. Ouchie. Oh. Okay, I'm not gonna... If you get it before me, I'm gonna be really sad. Hey, I got it! Did you get it?
I died 6 times.
Okay, I got a checkpoint. Can I just, like, ride the water fountain down?
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, you can.
I don't think we intended for us to do that, but I'm just gonna do it.
Yeah, I don't think so. But, like, it works.
It makes it easy. It makes my life easier.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm not. I meant to avoid that fully. Okay. Which I'm failing to do so.
I mean, really, if you make it to the end, it doesn't matter.
Exactly. But I can't make it to the end of this. What the fuck am I doing?
I was so close.
I almost just hit a whole other thing. Guys, how do I get around this? What even is this? What? Okay, I got it. Oh my god, I see your name! Are we at 9/11?
God.
I should have taken my meds today. I see you. Immediately followed up by, are we at 9/11? I might have some problems.
Just make it. Okay, guys.
Where the fuck? Are we in a person?
Okay, there we go. I got it.
You finished 9/11?
Yes.
What did you hit?
Wait. What did I hit?
Yeah, if you finished 9/11.
I
made it to the end and then
No.
did jump in the water. I hate it here.
I did not. I did not finish. Wait. You can't. I'm stuck.
Oh.
I don't want to.
I keep hating the
Keep dying.
flesh. Oh my god, I suck at this one. Like, I suck at all of them, but I especially suck
Oh my
at
god,
this
I
one.
almost
What?
I almost got it.
God.
I was so close.
I hit the floor right by the water. I hate it here.
Did you actually get all the way down to the water?
I've hit the floor instead of the water, though. That's my problem.
Oh my god, I did too.
But I got all the way to
So
the
annoying.
water.
This is annoying. This is annoying. Oh,
Hello?
okay.
Oh, did we?
Yeah, never mind, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah,
and
somebody made it.
I just realized I was on the last one.
Do we want to play again, or do we want to play something different?
Up to you. I'm down for that again. My back is hurting. I need to fix my posture. Oh my god.
Oh god, not the posture.
You've seen how bad it is in action.
Yep, I have. It's something special.
Oh, it fucking hurts. Ah.
Old.
Okay.
You're just old.
I'm not.
You're old.
I'm really not. Ow.
You're not old.
I'm not.
Oh,
Ah!
you are though.
I'm not.
You're
Ah!
ancient. ancient you
I
are.
think I'm gonna die of an exorcism before I beat this level. Guys, please.
Exorcism.
Let me through. That's a goddamn fence post!
Are you still on the first one?
Shut the fuck up! Where do you go for this one? I'm genuinely so confused.
You just do.
I know where you live. I'm gonna kill you.
You literally
Ah!
don't. You literally don't.
Are you sure?
I'm very sure.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I think so.
I'm still on the first one. I fucking hate it here. Get me out of here! Oh my god!
I'm stuck on the third one and I can't.
Oh, boo-hoo!
I failed 8 times, guys. I'm gonna cry.
Oh, boo fucking who?
Thanks. Thanks, buddy.
I failed 7 times! Sorry, wrong.
I made
18
it!
times!
Made it! I did it! Oh
I
god,
have failed
there's lava
18
here.
times. I hit the floor!
That was easy.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna smite you where you stand.
No, number 4. Number 4 is easy.
I genuinely can't see a path where I'm supposed to safely go down. I'm being so serious. Where is the
I don't
path
know.
to safely go down? How is this easy?
I jumped and hoped for the best.
Oh my god, I was right above the water and then I hit something. That was floating.
And they need to get rid of the floating bit.
Please, please. Ah! It's like my mom said, I'm gonna need an exorcism.
Who said that?
My mom.
Oh my god. That's absolutely insane.
I have the quote in my phone still. Please,
That's...
please, please put me down. I swear to God. I want to get if I ever make it to old age, I want to get killed.
If I ever make it to old age.
You know what? I'm gonna save that.
You already
thought.
are.
It's not bad, but I feel like it's not bad, but I feel like I need to control some thoughts.
You already are at old age.
I never beat the first level, and I had 34 fails.
You're already at old age.
I'm not.
You literally are.
No. I'm really not.
How old do you have to be vintage? Hold up.
Like 25. I can't say to the teacher, Mr. B is vintage.
No, you can't.
Oh no, he's antique. Sorry, Mr. B is antique.
He's ancient. Antique. It's vintage. He is vintage.
I fucking hated that.
I need to vote. Oh no.
Easy ones, easy ones.
No.
Oh, we
Teleported
got a
myself back
hard
to...
one!
I just teleported myself back to the lobby, wait.
My friend, why? Oh,
I'm
first
not
fucking
sure.
try. Oh, I didn't mean to fall
You have
off.
fun with that.
I didn't mean to fall
We are back in different games.
Okay. First try for the first one, and then second try for the second one. Let's go. I'm not beating this one first try. Where the did it?
First try.
Did it end?
Time starts in 10 seconds.
Oh! I just lobbied out. No, that's what happened. I'm in limbo.
Mine hasn't started. Would you like me to come rescue you from limbo?
I kind of want to work on concepts for your skin, honestly. But I don't know if you do that on stream. Do you want to come up with the actual intricacies of your sauna skin thing?
Sure, 1 second, I gotta finish this level. I'm keep dying.
Okay.
You know what? I'll come rescue you from limbo.
Well, if I'm drawing.
True. I rescued you from limbo. You've been de-limboed. You're free.
I don't know why one of my vocal stimming is just rhying.
You're free. I've freed you from the limbo.
Look, I kind of want to draw now on it.
Draw then.
Yeah, but this is a Minecraft stream. This is meant to be a
That's okay,
Minecraft
guys.
stream.
Okay, guys.
Would we like to have it where it's Minecraft related in the sense of we're drawing and sketching ideas for your skin?
I mean, sure. It's still technically Minecraft
It's still
related.
technically Minecraft. It's still technically Minecraft.
Exactly.
You can't tell me it's
Oh,
not
you
Minecraft.
And you have left.
I died. Where did the cat go? Where did my cat go? Where did my cat go? Copy.
I don't know.
Where is my cat? Where is Roxy? Roxy.
Okay.
Roxy. I don't know where my baby is. This
Are
is
you
upsetting.
Are you still in the game?
I'm loading up my drawing stuff.
Okay.
I got my cat!
Yay! That is best.
Yippee. What is my drawing on? Okay, I guess I'm drawing on fire alpaca.
You're drawing an alpaca?
No, I'm drawing on fire alpaca. Alpaca.
Mm.
It just sounds weird when I say it like that. Please. No. We're drawing you thing. Okay. I'm like, where's my tablet? Where's my tablet? Ah!
I don't know.
I see it, but I don't. Get over here! I got it! Hello?
Hello?
Hello? Can you see it?
Oh.
Can you see my drawing?
No, I can't.
I shared my screen with you.
It's just your profile picture.
Oh.
There it is. I found it.
Can you see?
You see?
You see?
You see?
I don't know why we just start talking like this, but okay.
I don't either.
Where's my pen? I don't remember my pen's name. Is it this one? No, it's Wall! Yes. Okay. This is fine? Everything's fine? I know what I'm doing. Totally. That's... How are frogs drawn? How... I don't know how to draw frogs, but I don't think that's how you draw a frog. This is kinda... Oh... I know that's not how a frog looks. Got a frog friend. I'm not used to drawing shadow creatures. Oh, jeez. I just heard like compared to the other rest of talking, just a weirdly close to my ear. Hello? Hello? What?
Hello.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Okay, what concept are you liking for your little guy? What ideas do you
Frog.
got?
Frog.
Yeah, but like, do you want to be frog creature? Frog-ish person? Shadow that's like, I'm a frog, and then it's like, no, everyone knows bro's not.
Shadow that's supposed to be a frog, but you can very much tell it's not a frog.
We love that, we love that.
It'd be funnier.
I'm gonna give you janky proportions to make you spooky. Just make you the spooky little shadow guy. Also, where did you go? Why are we echoey now?
It's echoey.
Did you say Satan?
What?
What did you say? I heard Satan. Either that or Saturn. Where are we?
I said neither of those things.
What did you say?
I don't remember.
Well, then how do you know you didn't say it?
'Cause I do.
Okay. Okay, little shit face.
Hey,
You know what you are.
what the flip, man? That's oh,
What?
very nice. That's not very nice, man.
I don't know what to have you doing with your hands.
I don't know.
Long. What the fuck?
Yeah, very tall.
What if I just...
It's like
Oh, that's as far as I can go. Bro's lanky. My god.
I guess I'm tall now.
Yeah.
Well, I am tall.
It's just all
I'm
about...
taller than you.
Shut up. When there's like creatures of like just shadow or just creatures themselves, it's really fun to make them all lanky and unnatural.
Yes. Very tall,
Your
very
son.
creepy.
I don't remember your son's name.
Which son?
Genloss.
Oh, the security. Jeffrey.
I knew there was a J in there.
I love Jeffrey. He's my baby. Jeffrey's my child, man.
This is the front of the torso.
He's wonderful.
Wee.
Have I showed you a picture of Jeffrey?
Yes, you have.
Good, because he's my child. And I think this is like Jeffrey's one of the children that you've yet to call ugly, so
I haven't called any of your children ugly.
are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, those eyes are wonderful.
No.
The side-eyeing. Oh,
Because
no eye.
it's just like the way that you hide your eyes, just like go in that way. I don't know. That's what I immediately think
Yeah.
of for. Do you want facial features or do you want just shadow?
Uh, I don't know. I know that's like really unhelpful, but like
No,
I'm
we're
I'm
good.
indecisive.
I know. I want to give you a frog hood, but I absolutely despise drawing hoods.
I would draw it, but I can't draw to like save my life, so
Would do you want shadow hair, like blacked out hair that's like blending into your figure?
uh no, I thought I was bald.
I was making a bit, but if you want to be bald, you freak.
I thought I was bald. It's funnier if I'm bald.
It's funnier if I'm bald. I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that.
Does that one need to go on quotes?
Up to you, man. What if your cloak was made out of leaves? Cause frog.
I get a I get a cloak.
That's what I was doing, the little cloaked hood thing.
I love that.
Oh, this is not looking good. This is gonna be very sketchy, I hope you know.
That's okay. I love it.
Ooh, that's a thing.
Oh, that's beautiful. I look like I have a balloon on my head.
Don't say that.
No, I love it.
That comment's evil.
I'm sorry.
It's meant to be a hood.
No, it's a hood.
I know I'm not very
It,
good at drawing hoods. But
no, it looks good. I'm sorry.
I feels very quiet. Do you have any other things to say? Add, what do you want? This is gonna be your guy.
He needs to have no mouth. It's funnier.
Got it. We love shadow blobs with no mouth, with no facial features.
Exactly. Just very side-eyeing eyeballs. He's just a skeptical guy.
How we feeling so far?
I love it. It's very, very
I'm
gorgeous.
making you whimsical.
Yes, I am very whimsical.
Oh my god, we get off early tomorrow. Yes. I just remembered.
Oh my God, wait, do we?
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure
I
tomorrow's
forgot
the day we
about
get off
that.
early.
Yeah, we do. I forgot about that.
So happy for that, man. I am disappointed that D&D's not gonna happen though.
Yeah,
But I'm so happy to get off
fair.
early. This probably does not look like a hood, but whatever.
No, it looks beautiful.
Yeah, you got a little cloak. It's gonna be leaves.
Torso.
I might
Torso.
adjust the torso because that makes the cloak look really, really small. Um,
That's okay, guys.
let's let's fix one of those. Ooh, ooh, eyes. Let's make this longer.
Yippee!
What? A long, nice.
Had a stroke.
You get a long, nice, whimsical, flowy cloak. Because those are cooler. I forgot your frog eyes!
Yes, my frog
Oh
hood.
yeah, how do you feel about
Oh my
I
god, I
drew
love
a frog from memory.
the frog in the corner is
I don't
beautiful.
remember how frogs look. I know the top half looks like that because of doodling pretzel so much, but I don't remember how frogs look.
He's wonderful. I love him.
That's the
I
apple.
just tried to take a picture of it with my phone and it just got like 10 times blurrier and it looks even better now.
Oh no. Do I want to know?
It's so beautiful. Absolutely wonderful. I've cropped it. You can use this as another reaction.
For what? Is every time I draw
The
it just
text,
becoming a reaction image now?
I mean, once you see it, you're gonna agree with me, so
Let me check my messages.
yes.
Why is it yellow?
I don't know. I don't.
Do we want like them to be like actual attempts at eyes, or do we want like button eyes that you like that you got like
Well,
sewed?
now it looks dead.
No, it's meant to be a button that your character like sewed on to like have the little frog cloak.
Oh yeah, I do like that.
You just said they're look like they're dead. I don't know if I want to do that anymore. Button eyes, and also because button eyes are cute. I don't know. I don't get to draw them
Yes,
enough.
buttons are the best.
I love buttons. They're so whimsical.
Torso.
I forgot your hand. Let's put your hand here.
I don't need a hand. Hands are for
Yeah,
losers.
but you're gonna be holding onto your cloak.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, first, let's like extend. It's a really long cloak now.
You know what? I don't think I'd I thought I'd ever say the sentence hands are for losers.
Well, too bad you're
But
getting
you know
hands.
what? You know what? Here we are.
Too bad you're getting hands. Giving you little pointed fingers like a little creature.
Yay. Yes, I love that.
You want 4 fingers for 5 fingers. I think
Four, it's funnier.
I also like how it looks more.
I like four. Just more proof that I'm very much not a person.
No, because why would you be? I love
I am
things that are
Shadow.
like trying to pretend to be people. For example, my little Sona guy. Oh my god, wait, I made you look kind of silly.
No, it looks so good. I love it.
You're a silly little guy. Wait, this is adorable.
I am a silly little guy. Okay?
Do you still want eyebrows? Or at least an eyebrow to make emotions visible? It'll be like
Nope.
just that.
No, it'd be funnier with no eyebrows. I'm bald, remember?
But it also
No
would make
hair.
it really so much easier to draw your emotions for like sprites or thumbnails.
Ah, true. Yeah, I
Well,
guess I can have
we can keep
eyebrows.
it to one. We can keep it to one. Because even if you just got one, you still got like you can still like
Yeah.
get across the expression. Like, for example, this is a face. Ooh, that second eye is fine.
Mushroom.
Here, here's a normal eyebrow. Like, here's just normal, angry, sad, concerned. Confused, you kind of can't do though. So confused, maybe you'll like tilt your head or something.
Beautiful.
I don't know.
God, I love my four fingers.
You're a creature.
I know, right?
Do you want clothes?
That sounds so bad out of context.
A lot of things that I say sound bad out of context. I don't mean for
I don't
them
know.
to.
I don't know, because I'm just like a big shadow.
Yes, but
Shadow
also I don't
creature.
know.
I don't know.
I don't know. But hear me out.
Look.
Fantasy corset. I can't draw I
Ooh,
can't draw corsets though.
yes.
That's my
Wait.
issue.
No, no, I believe in you.
Do I have to go pull out my corset for reference? Guys, I don't want to go grab my corset. I don't want to. I also really want an excuse to pull in like the sewing and the thread that I had with the button eyes.
Yeah.
Like keep consistently to make it clear that your character made your little disguise.
Hmm.
I don't know. Cause corsets are just so pretty, man.
Yes, I love corsets.
They're so
I don't have one, and it makes me upset.
they're so whimsical and pretty. And does this look like an actual corset? No, but who cares? This is a sketch for the concept.
Exactly.
Let's just loosely get the lines.
Gorgeous.
I don't know how I feel. It feels like some stuff is missing, but that's probably because I want to give you really flowy, whimsical sleeves. Do I just make you whimsical?
You could.
Are you against it?
No.
Are you for
I'm
it?
here along for I'm here along for the ride.
This
Go
is
for
your
it.
guy.
I know, but he's so pretty. I love him. It's making me so happy. The happy hand flaps.
Autism. Where's your hand? There's your hand.
Yay!
There's your
My
hand.
hands are under my desk.
No, I'm talking about your shadow hand. Why'd it go quiet?
I don't know. Well, technically,
Well, technically you
shadow
do
guys.
know.
Well, technically, yeah, because we stopped making sound with our vocal cords.
Okay, freak.
Freak bird?
Bird freak.
Yes. Freak bird and bird freak.
I like flowy sleeves, but I don't really draw them all that often. I need to get better at that.
No, I love it. It looks so good.
You like a little prince, like a little fancy prince or whatever. I don't know.
I am a prince in another world.
In the shadow realm or whatever.
Yes.
Are we giving your character lore?
I could write lore for the character.
You could. You could.
Do I need to pull up a Google Doc?
Up to you, man.
I'll pull up a Google Doc.
Are we actually making lore for your little guy? Live on stream,
I don't know.
guys. New lore.
Yep. Hold up. Let me pull up a Google Doc. Why is my computer so dim?
Okay, I'm gonna just like establish where your head is.
What are we gonna name him?
What do you want to name your guy?
I don't know.
We can also
I'm bad at
we can also
names.
establish a name when you choose an alias,
Yeah, true.
and then that could be the name for your guy as well, because it's meant to be like your skin or you.
I'm just naming it Shadow Frog for right now.
That can be your name if you want.
Well, that's what I named the Google Doc.
Fair. Can I? There we go. I have haven't checked my app in a while. I should check the chat.
There's nothing new.
Oh, it's still meow? Yep, it's still meow. And this is not me deciding a face shape. I just want something there so I can color the behind of it.
No, yeah, that's fine.
Just so I can do something with the inside of the hood. You're
Hmm.
also a shadow. I don't think you have a set face shape, man. One that's visible at least.
No. I am one with the oxygen.
Oh.
I am oxygen.
Alright, here is basic sketch. We can always add more, but this is just
Yay!
basic coming, like deciding and choosing and little guy. I really want to add to like the fact that your character. I like the character your character made it because like I really like that idea, and I don't know how else to add it aside from like the like stitching and like lace and.
Oh, there it goes.
The little sad. There it goes. No.
The little what?
Just the way you said they went. There it goes.
A little disappointed, like.
There it goes. Do I need to draw people who actually like are on stream with me, like little reactive images in my style?
No, you could.
I could, but that so far that's been at least 3 people, and I don't know if I'm ever
Yeah.
gonna do stuff with them again. Cause it's been me, Kois, but I don't know if you know which IRL person is Kois.
I can guess. I think I know.
I don't know if that's who you thought it was. It's like he's fine with people knowing. I'm just trying to be.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was.
He's fine with people knowing. I just wanted to be sure we established it. So you,
Yeah.
Kois, and Ryan.
Fire.
You're special, just like your mom says, or whatever. I don't know.
Oh. Yay!
I have a reason to just like straight up cross out your face. I promise.
No, I love it. I am the shadow, remember?
That's what I'm trying to get.
My little shadow guy.
It all shadow
Did you see
guy.
the picture? Did you see the picture I sent you earlier while we were playing
Yes.
Minecraft?
Oh, where you were just blending into the background of your inventory?
Yes, it was horrifying.
It is horrifying. Do you want to jab it? Jabot?
A what?
Jabot. Jab it. I don't know how to say it. The next thingy vampires have.
Wait, yes.
I don't know how well I can draw it, but I can try.
Wait, no, I believe. I believe.
I learned their name and
You
I
got
will never stop saying their name. It's really silly.
It's such a weird name.
Jabot. It's spelled how you think it is. Ooh, this is. I'm not used to drawing ruffles though. That's my issue. Like that's not a very good ruffle.
It's okay, guys.
Guys, I think it's just us.
That's okay.
We can fix the job out later, but I really like them and I want to practice, and also I think it really fits because it felt like something was lacking there.
Yeah. It says there's one person here. I don't know how accurate that is, but
It might be my streaming stuff open. I think I don't know.
wait, it might be me.
Is it you?
It might be me because I have it open.
I so badly want to do what I usually do and just disappointingly say your name, but I can't. And the only alternative is just non-binary, which sounds really weird.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to get a cat cam, but the cats are never like around me when I'm streaming. Or there are some
Yeah.
times in the past, but Roxy hasn't for obvious reasons.
Yeah, well, she's a little baby.
And also, I haven't streamed when we had her.
Yeah. I think it was like 4 months.
It was during summer when I last streamed, I
So like
think.
so like 4 months, yeah.
Something like that. I can't remember. No, I accidentally layered with your fingers with the cloak. I didn't mean to do that.
It's okay, guys.
It's not okay. It's not okay. Panic. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you, amigo. I feel like I have to think of other ways of saying friend, because just saying thank you, friend, sounds is getting awkward. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Thank you, Freunde, Freund,
Deutsch.
Deutsch. Go back to my roots,
Oh nine.
or one of them. What do you mean by '09?
No.
You're a German kid too.
Yeah, I know.
Can I back? There we go.
No, no backspace for you.
No, I wanna. Okay, but yeah, you got the fancy little prince little ruffle. Even though I'm assuming your character is
Yay.
non-binary like you, but I don't know.
Well, do you know how badly non-binary me wants to wear the most like outrageous medieval prints?
Yes, I mean you showed up to school in like a steampunk trench coat, unironically.
I know, right? Then again, it was Halloween,
Then
so
again, you were rocking it though.
I know, right? I loved it. You didn't even get to see the whole thing though, because I couldn't bring the accessories.
Evil.
Did you ever actually see the full picture?
I maybe. I don't know if you sent me a full picture.
I'll send it again if I can find it.
Oh, it's gone.
It might be.
Oh,
It might take me a second.
okay.
Aha, located. That was easy.
I love how we were gonna just play survival, and then I went, wait, let's play some Bed Wars to just drawing.
Yeah, I know, right? I sent you the full picture if you want to see it.
Hold up, I'm gonna finish what I'm on right now, filling out the shadow, but then I'll
Yeah, fair.
check it. Because I'm in the flow or whatever, I need to do it.
Yep, real.
Your little shadow guy.
Yay! I love him.
And I kind of want to color other things, but I don't know. Can you send me the color of yours, like the Minecraft skin of yours, so I can get what exact shade of green you used?
Yeah, 1 second.
Bro, it's whimsical. My God.
It might take me a second.
I don't know what to say. Woo!
Yay! I'm sorry. I'm logging into
You're good. You're
my
good.
skin maker.
You're good.
You look so silly.
I want one of my cats.
Real.
I want my cats, but I don't know where they are, and I don't want to believe.
Do you want the lighter green or the darker green?
If I could get both, that would be great.
Okay.
You said
How
you
do
sounded
I?
so disappointed.
No, I'm just confused. I don't know how to edit it.
You could also just take a screenshot and send it to me.
Oh, edit right there. Uh, what, like, how do you want me to tell you the color? Do you want, like, hex code?
I'm down for hex code.
Okay. The darker green is 37,
Wait, I'm trying to. Okay, I have to type it and then copy it in. Hold up. 37,
85,
85.
20, 27.
Got it.
And the lighter
Wait,
green.
let me get the darker one in.
I know.
I pressed the wrong thing. Copy. Paste. Just gonna. There you
And then the lighter green
go. Yeah.
is 3F, 9A,
Yeah.
2D.
Got the letters.
Yeah, letters.
Shapes and colors.
Shapes and colors.
Alright. Yippee! Okay.
There are your greens.
My greens.
Yeah, green. Um, I don't know what that was.
Neither do I.
No.
I feel like if you're gonna have accents for like the buttons and pins or whatever, it gotta be gold. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I feel
they
like gold
do.
is a nice color to go with for this guy.
Yeah.
This is fine. I know what I'm doing. Trust. This does not feel like a great stream anymore. Not because I'm not enjoying this, but also I'm like, I don't know what to say.
No, that's so fair though.
I am very much enjoying drawing this little guy though.
Yippee.
I also am gonna put the colors under the sketch there because I don't know, I like it. I like doing that.
Yeah.
It just adds to it for some reason. I feel like the stream is probably not the most entertaining, and I don't think anyone's even here.
That's okay, guys. You are very right though. There is no one here. It is just me.
I've done just about my hour and a half. Do I end it here?
We could end it.
We also kind of have
You
gone off
can.
track from the Minecraft that was meant to happen.
Yeah, we really did.
I might end this
This
stream.
is
I don't
okay.
think anyone's watching, but if anyone is, bye. I don't know why you're here. Wait, I have to go to my computer to end it. Shit.